The rain didn't just fall that night. It attacked. The drops were heavy, almost solid, as though the sky had gathered all its fury and was now emptying it over this forgotten corner of the world, without mercy, without pause. The occasional flash of lightning tore through the darkness, and for a fraction of a second revealed the wet outlines of houses. Then everything sank back into black. The wind came from the sea, raw and salt-laced, and lashed everything in its path. Rooftops, shorelines, the narrow streets that wound between old walls like furrows in tired skin. Old people would have said this was the weather of Judgment Day. And that evening, it would have been hard to argue. The settlement looked abandoned. Windows dark, doors locked, streets empty as the bottom of a forgotten glass. The houses pressed against one another, tightly, almost desperately, as if together they could bear what none of them could carry alone. Their facades were slick with rain, and the cracks in their walls told stories nobody wanted to hear anymore. Only at the end of the main street was the picture different. The largest house in the settlement burned from within, windows full of light, warm and yellow, as if whoever was inside refused to acknowledge the storm outside. Above the entrance, a sign reading "Open" flickered in the dark, persistently, almost stubbornly. From inside came the sounds of a living world. Laughter, conversation, the clinking of glasses, someone telling a story everyone already knew, but was glad to hear again. Then in the distance, a yellow dot appeared, at first barely visible, a ghost among the downpours. Then growing, drawing closer, cutting through the darkness. Soon it became clear it was not a light. It was a person. A girl, hunched over her handlebars, fighting the wind and rain with everything she had, as if this were personal. A duel she had no intention of losing. The bicycle raced along the wet road, tires slicing through puddles, water spraying in every direction. She was cursing. Quietly at first, then louder. Her fate, her job, every possible reason she was outside at this hour in this weather, instead of somewhere dry and warm. Her yellow rain jacket had long since surrendered. The fabric was soaked, heavy as sin, cold to the bone. It offered nothing anymore, only the illusion that something stood between her and the storm. When she sped under the canopy before the lit entrance without slowing, she swerved sharply at the last moment, just barely. A group of young men, cooling their overheated heads against the wall, barely scattered in time. Flushed faces, unsteady legs, loud laughter, too much alcohol, not enough sense. The consequences were immediate. A wave of water, thrown up by the wheel, from a deep puddle, hit the young men from the waist down with cold, democratic precision. 1 second of silence, then shouts, curses, and inarticulate rage, the kind that comes when a person feels humiliated but can't quite work out how it happened. The yellow figure stepped off the bicycle completely calmly, began locking the chain as if she had noticed nothing. That indifference enraged them more than the water. With clenched fists, they began moving toward her, steps unsteady, but intentions clear. The yellow figure slowly turned around. From beneath the large hood, blue eyes flashed. Unhurried, she reached up to the edge of the hood and removed it with a slow, deliberate movement. Wet hair fell across her face and clung to her skin, water dripping down her neck and along her collar. She looked at the 5 young men who had stopped mid-step, questioningly, as if she genuinely couldn't work out what the problem was.